Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us this afternoon slash noon slash depending where you are, maybe two. I have no idea, but I'm glad you're here with us. And we are representing the Kansas City chapter of SCORE. But as many of you know, you can be anywhere that you want to be here with us today. So, with that said, why don't you tell us where you're at? Tell us a little bit about yourself. Are you just getting started? Are you not even sure if you want to be an entrepreneur? Because today we're going to learn a lot about being a solo entrepreneur, but some of you might just be doing legwork before you even make that decision, which, by the way, we love. We love a person who wants to learn things before they make decisions. That's great. So don't be shy. Tell us a little bit about yourself, and I'm going to give you just a minute to do that, and then I'm going to jump through my few slides and hand it off to Julie because that is who you came to hear. So don't be shy. I'm going to give a round of applause to whoever tells us a little bit about themselves first. So it's a big prize right there.
No pressure.
Exactly. No pressure.
No pressure.
We see all your names in here, so we know you're here. We got a good group today. This is wonderful. Oh, yay. All right, Emily, there's my round of applause. Very good. New Mexico, landscape architecture. Nice. Phoenix, sports medicine. Very good, very good. I recognize some of the names. Some of you guys have joined us for other Kansas City SCORE workshops, which I appreciate very much. Career coaching. We all need a little of that, I think, in life sometimes, don't we? All right, well, I'm going to let you guys keep introducing yourselves, and I'm going to let Julie keep an eye on that. And I'm going to get through the little opening we have here. So today we're in a webinar, which means your video is off and you are muted. And that's why that chat window is so incredibly important. And you've already got it open. So we don't need you to wait for a specific Q&A time during today's course. Just pop your questions in there and I will let Julie know when we have questions and we'll get them answered. I may not interrupt her at that precise moment, but I promise that I am watching everything in that chat. So if you happen to lose your connection to Zoom, come back in. I don't like lock the room or anything. Really, I never even knew that was a thing until one day and I got locked out of a meeting. It said if you hadn't joined within 5 minutes, you couldn't get in. So anyway, you will get a recording of what we're doing here today. You will get slides from what we're doing today. You will not get the chat. So if anybody drops a link in the chat, myself, if Julie says something and I drop a link matching that, any of those kind of things, you're going to want to open those so you can look at them later. I will also tell you how to get a mentor if you don't already have one. And then lastly, you're going to get a survey after class. We love if you can answer it. What does SCORE do? Three main things: no cost business advice and mentoring. You are already in number two, low and no cost classes. And then we also share free business templates and resources. Their website has a great search function. So if you would like to support SCORE funding, we have been going to a pay version of classes. This one is free today. Yay, congrats for finding it. Very, very happy. We love if you would want to make a donation to SCORE. They are a full volunteer organization, the people who speak, the people who work, and the only way they can get money is through donations. They are a nonprofit. So if you do want to, here's how you do it: score.org/donate score. I'll put that in the chat, by the way. And if you put Kansas City in, that just really helps them know, who told you about making a donation. So really appreciate if any of that rings a bell and you'd like to do it. And if you do look at our other courses, you'll see that they all have a cost right now of $10, which is such an affordable way to learn how to be a business person. So anyway, I will stop sharing. I will hand it off to Julie and we will get started.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Let me get my screen shared here. All righty. Let's get this party started. I hear we have over 300 people registered today, so who knows how many are going to show up, but I am so glad you are here. Today we are going to talk about solopreneurship, as I like to call it, 101. And just so I know many of you have been sharing in the chat who you are, what you do, and where you are zooming in from. I want to know, are you currently a solopreneur or do you want to be a solopreneur? So in the chat, if you are currently a solopreneur, do current, right? Current. And if you want to be a solopreneur, let's put want. All right, look at this. Okay. A lot of both. Okay, so we've got a good mix of people here, not consistent. I get it. I get it. All righty. Good audience participation. So this is how it's going to go today because it's a webinar and I can't see you and you can see me. You get to talk to me in the chat. So help me keep the energy up, keep the party going, and yeah, let's keep the conversations going. I will try and monitor the chat as best as possible, but I know I have Michelle as my trusty sidekick to help me if I miss anything here. So now that we know half of you are current solopreneurs. Pretty much half of you want to be a solopreneur. Here's the trick question. How many of you are 100% sure you know exactly what you're doing as a solopreneur? Anybody? Anybody? Right? Y'all, I've been doing this more than 25 years. I still don't know what I'm doing, but here I am. Okay. So, right? This is why we're here. We're here to learn and we're here to have fun. That's my job in bringing that to you today. So, my question beyond that is, okay, knowing that we want to be or are solopreneurs, who studied solopreneurship or entrepreneurship in school? Did anybody take business classes? Right? Like so many of us went to school to study our craft, whether it was writing or design or photography or whatever it is that you did, right? But so many of us didn't take business classes. And that's a problem because either it wasn't required in school or maybe we didn't ever think that we would need them. And then lo and behold, here we are, whether by choice or by default, running our own businesses, and we don't know what to do, right? Right. So, right. I totally wish I had listened to my dad back in school, like, Julie, you should take some business classes. You know what, Dad? You were right. Okay. A little too late for that now, but there, we can still educate ourselves as adults. We may not get a degree for it, but we get pat on the back for attending SCORE webinars, right? Okay. So, we're going to learn what to do today. Today, that all ends. All right. And oh, I'm forgetting my slides. You might want these slides, right? You didn't miss much. Don't worry about it. Okay. So I am Julie Cortes, copywriter by day, freelance rockstar by night. I live, breathe, teach, speak, and coach on all things self-employment. I have run my own freelance writing business. Copywriting is somebody who writes in advertising and marketing. I've run my own business for 27 years now. And I have had such a random career that I can tell you I am absolutely nowhere where I thought I would be, but everywhere I'm supposed to be. So I started my business as a freelance writer. I discovered a void in education, a void in community, and a void even in respect for the self-employed. And looking back on my career path, I've discovered that I did something about it. In 2003, I started an organization called the Freelance Exchange of Kansas City. We cater to those who are self-employed in advertising and marketing, filling those voids, offering continuing education, community resources, what have you. And then by default, we serve as the city's best resource to find freelance talent. We'll talk about the Freelance Exchange more in the later on in the presentation. So hold tight on that. I also developed a college level course called Freelancing 101, which I taught at the world-renowned Kansas City Art Institute as an adjunct professor for nearly 8 years. So many of my professional peers wanted to come sit in on my classes that I decided, hey, it's about time I open up a coaching arm to my business. So now I get the joy and honor of coaching my fellow solopreneurs and freelancers and helping them thrive in their businesses. And obviously, I'm a public speaker too. So if you had asked me 25 years ago, heck, even 10 years ago, if I would be where I am today, I would have thought you were crazy. But here I am doing absolutely everything I love, and you can too. So enough about me. Let's get started and let's talk about solopreneurship today. Okay. As I'm gonna get there. It's Monday. Bear with me. Okay. So, as promised, today we are going to cover mindset and motivation. We are going to cover policies and procedures, and then also my personal favorite, branding and promotions. Sound like a plan? Is that good? Give me some energy. Give me some hands. Give me some clap. Something in the chat. Let me know you're awake. Michelle's awake. Yes, very good. Okay, let's go. So there we go. Thank you. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Now, let's get on the same page. I call it solopreneurship. I call it freelancing. There are so many different terms for this. Okay. You may have heard whatever the trendy fractional is or founder is. Okay. I don't care what you call it. For the sake of today's presentation, let's just all agree it is what it is. If I say solopreneur and you go by consultant, I mean the same thing. Okay. Can we agree on that? All right. It doesn't matter what you call yourself. We all have the same challenges. We all have the same opportunities. We all have similar pros and we all have similar cons. Okay. So it is what it is. Figure out whatever you want to call yourself. If you want to call yourself one of these terms, you don't have to label it. It's okay. But at the end of the day, solopreneurship, freelancing, what have you, it's pretty awesome. I'm not going to lie. Again, I'm a little biased. I've been doing it more than 25 years, right? Obviously, I'm not going back. But let's talk about the benefits of solopreneurship. And this is where I need some audience participation. If I were to ask you, what are some of the pros of being self-employed? What might you tell me? In the chat, tell me. What? Yes, schedule flexibility. Absolutely. Self-determination. Oh, here they all come. Okay, flexible schedule, freedom. Yes, saying no, boundaries, my favorite. You are the boss. I love improved earning potential. Yeah, a lot of people miss out on that. Work-life balance, absolutely. Self-satisfaction. Pajamas, yes. Oh, you all are good. You all are really good. Yeah, so I mean, obviously, the biggest pro, the biggest benefit of being self-employed is the freedom. We love the freedom. We get to set our own schedules. We get to wear what we want. We get to work on what we want, with whom we want, when we want, where we want, right? How we want. Okay. Basically, you get to do everything that you want to do. There's so much freedom to it. And yeah, it's very, very much empowering, right? And a lot of you are talking about the unlimited potential for income, and a lot of people miss out on that. And absolutely, of course, you're not limited to whatever cap you might have in a traditional full-time job. Let's see, what other pros are there? You get to be your own boss, right? You work for yourself. You set your own schedule. You choose your own projects if you are a project-based service provider. You get to choose partners and vendors, and that's all really so empowering, right? You get to set your own policies and procedures, which we will get into later. If you have a difficult client, you can fire them. What? I said it. It's so empowering. I'm not going to lie, scary the first time you do it, but after you get used to it, you're like, huh, I don't have to be treated this way. Okay, bye. And on to the next person, right? So there's so much that you can put into this to determine your own career path and your own success. And of course, depending on what it is that you do, it can be pretty easy and affordable to get started. So, as with every pro, of course, there are cons, right, that come with the territory. So, audience participation. What do you think the cons are to being self-employed? You have to do everything. Yes. It's lonely. Healthcare. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Liability. No one to bounce ideas off of. Admin stuff. Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. Self-motivation. We're going to talk about that today. No guaranteed salary. Multiple hats. I feel like some of you are like looking at my presentation on the future pages. No steady paycheck. Hard brainstorm. Yes. Imposter syndrome. Really good. Uh-huh. Very, very good. So, I would say probably the two biggest cons that I hear of all the time, one of which, of course, is no guaranteed paycheck. Okay, so if you have a traditional job, whether part-time or full-time, you know you're going to be getting a paycheck, whether it's weekly, every other week, once a month, whatever that looks like for them, right? We don't have that, and it's all scary, right? We call this feast or famine income or episodic income. If you view it like a roller coaster, right? Sometimes you may be really, really busy and sometimes you may not be at all. And it's really difficult to understand that there is money going to be coming in the door, maybe not just yet, right? So we have to prepare for those things in advance. That is really, really terrifying. The second biggest con that I hear is no benefits, right? No health insurance, no vision insurance, no dental insurance. And why those three are not lumped together, I will never understand. I don't make the rules, but no benefits, no health insurance. That also means no retirement savings. Wah, wah. We have to figure that all out on our own. Now, of course, if you should be so lucky enough to have a partner or a spouse, somebody who you can get on their health insurance plan with, that's great. Not everybody has that luxury. Okay. So we have to figure out the workarounds when it comes to that. Okay. Yes, it can be lonely. Um, and it can be very isolating. So we have to figure that out too. How are we going to combat that? Now, I know if you're introverted, you may be sitting there looking at me like, well, Julie, that sounds amazing. I want to work by myself. It's not good for you. Okay. I understand where you're coming from, but it's not good for you. Again, we'll talk about some of those things a little bit later. You do have to be able to manage a lot of things, whether it's clients or customers, whatever they are to you. Manage projects, manage budgets, manage deadlines. Like you have to be able to do all of that, right? You got to be pretty self-disciplined to do all of these things, self-motivated. And truth be told, it does take some time to build up your business and build up that clientele. I know very few people who start their businesses and hit six figures in that first year. It's just the nature of the beast, right? That's what we aim for. Don't always get there, especially that first year. Okay. So we need to understand that we need time to ramp that up. And if you are one of those people who's just starting out or who wants to go and be self-employed and run your own business, please understand that there is no shame in taking a part-time job while you do that or sticking with a full-time job while you build your business. Okay? No shame in that whatsoever. You got to pay your bills. There's no shame in that. So I think for the most part, people understand some of the pros, people understand some of the cons, but at the end of the day, I don't think a lot of people understand that as a solopreneur, you don't just do your craft. You don't just write, design, do photography, health insurance, whatever it is that you do as a solopreneur. You wear all of the hats, right? A few of you mentioned this in the chat. Okay. I like to call this the O factor. And I say that because, well, I don't think most people realize it, but also you have to become the CEO, CFO, CMO, COO, and any other O you can think of, right? You have to do it all. So it's not just whatever your talent is or what you are trained in, it's knowing how to run a business too. Yeah, Captain Obvious. I love that name. It is like having seven full-time jobs because you are doing everything. It's being the salesperson, the secretary, the marketer, the researcher, the janitor, right? Doing all of the things. And I don't think most people understand that. When I look at my copywriting counterparts, when they work at ad agencies, I don't think they have a clue as to what it takes. And I see it all the time too. Like if they happen to lose their job, which unfortunately happens a lot in the advertising industry, and they're like, oh, I'm going to go freelance. And I'm like, oh, that's great. Do you realize you have to do this, that, and the other too, in addition to writing? They have no clue. And then lo and behold, no matter how talented they are, they end up hanging up their hat and going back full time somewhere because they didn't realize how difficult it really was. Okay. So we've got to get that in our head. We have to understand that there's so much more to it than just doing the fun stuff, right? But first, I do want to talk about mindset because it is truly everything. Okay. Mindset is at the core of everything you do as a solopreneur. Ask me how I know. I made a lot of mistakes in my time. All right. And I cannot emphasize this enough. It's important to not only obtain an optimal mindset, but also maintain an optimal mindset. Call it a positive mindset, a growth mindset, whatever you want. Okay. Just remember it's at the core of your business and it can truly make or break your business. So we've got to get in the right headspace first. Before we talk about anything else, we have to be in the right mind space and the right headspace in order to go forward with our own business. And that means taking on the right habits that can help shape your future. It makes a huge difference in your productivity, in your performance, and then, of course, hence your earnings. Okay. So I'm going to give you a few tips to help you get there. And pardon my stuffiness, I'm getting over a cold. I've had it for like a week, which I don't know, it's driving me crazy. Okay, so let's talk mindset and things that you can do. Okay, you ready? Audience participation time. If I were to ask you what the number one thing I want you to do first thing in the morning, what might you tell me it is? What do you think it is? First thing in the morning. Drink coffee. Caffeine is essential. Smile, self-care, wake up, wake up. Yes, that's always important. Plan for the day, deep breath, write a to-do list, pray, goals, calendar. I'm trying to keep up. Fitness, get up with your alarm, be thankful. Look at all of this. Good, good. I saw it once on here. Somebody is reading my mind. Trying Where did it go? I want to call you out because you got it. Y'all have excellent ideas. But one person is on my, there it is. Tanya is the winner. Tanya Bradenback, if I said that correct. Make your bed. That is exactly what I'm looking for. Now, this other stuff is also very important. All right. But first thing you do when you get up in the morning, make your bed. I know it sounds ridiculous. Does it count if your dogs unmake the bed afterwards? It still counts if you did it, right? Okay, so there are two schools of thought to making your bed. Why you should do it first thing in the morning. Number one is you are accomplishing something, right? It tells your subconscious brain that you have already accomplished something. And I'm not saying put on the fancy throw pillows or sham pillow covers or whatever you got going on normally if you have company, let's be honest, right? Just pull up the covers. Try and keep your dogs out of your bed or your cats or whatever it is. But try and pull up your covers, okay? It has an effect on your brain. Okay, already crossed something off your to-do list, right? You've accomplished something. I don't know if anybody puts make bed on their to-do list, but okay, you've done it. And then secondly, if you are the type of person who likes to nap during the day, okay, this can tell your brain it's shutting off, right? That you're done with that part of the day and you're not going to get back to that until you are done with your work for the day, okay? I know it sounds ridiculous, but there is psychology behind it, and I feel like it works. So if you don't already do this, let's start with that. Okay, make your bed, and then, of course, go on and have a morning routine. Now, you all mentioned a bunch of stuff in your morning routine. Whatever you do it every day. Do what you would do if you had a normal full-time job, right? And went to an office or somewhere else outside the home for work. What would you do? You'd wake up, you'd shower, you'd get dressed, you'd eat breakfast, take your dog for a walk, right? Pray, journal, meditate, exercise, whatever that looks like for you, do it. Okay? Try and have that morning routine every single day. And did you hear me when I say shower and get dressed? Okay, very important. It's so easy to miss this stuff, especially if you work from home. Okay, it's so easy to go and make your coffee, get your mug of coffee, and walk down the hall in your bunny slippers. Anybody still have bunny slippers? Okay, and start going to work. Next thing you know, it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Your hair's a greasy mess, right? And now somebody wants to meet you on Zoom, and you're like, no, I need to go get ready. Okay. So get ready for the day. Not only will you be ready for Zoom calls, not only will you be ready to meet somebody in person, should they ask, however, you will also, here we go again, your subconscious mind is going to take over. You'll also feel better about yourself. because there's this whole concept of when you feel good, you look good, when you look good, you do good. Okay, I know that's bad grammar. Bear with me. Okay, but it all goes according to plan, right? If you feel good about yourself, if you feel clean, right? If you washed your hair, washed your face, brushed your teeth, did all of those things that sound like it should be common sense, you're going to perform better. Okay. So I know it's easy to forget all that stuff when you work from home, but don't make it a priority. Okay. I also know it's really hard to do, especially if you have no Zoom meeting scheduled for that day or you aren't getting outside of the house during the day. Okay. Pro tip, schedule something, right? Or go do something. Schedule lunch with a friend, coffee, a happy hour, something to force the issue. Even if it's on Zoom, even if it's something where you're doing a virtual coffee meetup, something to force the issue, anything to force the issue. Get out of the house once a day. That also is helpful, right? Go run an errand, go to the post office, the office supply store, whatever. Okay, that's going to help with the isolation factor too. Because now you're going to have to go, well, you ought to go and make yourself look presentable. Okay. And then you're going to feel good about yourself because you know you look good. And then you're going to go and you're going to perform well at work. Okay. So all of that is super important. Alex says bed making is underrated. Yes, right? I love this. I used to tell my students to do this when I was teaching at the local art school. And a few years ago, I had one of my students, he had gone on and graduated, right? I had him come back and talk to the class. And I said, what's the one thing that you remember from this class that you've taken with you all this time? And he goes, I still make my bed to this day. And I was like, yes. Because it sounds so silly and yet it works. It really, really works for like 99% of people. Okay. All right. Here is my personal favorite productivity hack, and that is to set office hours for yourself. Okay. I don't care what they are. Is it 8 to 5, 9 to 5? Do you have to take the kids to school in the morning, right? So maybe you start a little bit later, or maybe you have to stop earlier because you have to go pick up kids from school. Whatever your office hours are, set them. And don't just set them, adhere to them, right? We have to get into this mindset that we're going to work, no matter if there's paid work to be done. Oftentimes, when we're self-employed, like we talked about this episodic income, right? We get into this mindset, I don't have any work to do, and therefore I'm not going to go to work, right? And then you get distracted and you go and you watch TV or you go shopping or go to the movies or something that does not help your business. So my mindset hack is set office hours for yourself and ensure that you are either working on your business or in your business during those hours. Now, what does that mean? Working in your business is doing all of the things that are going to pay the bills. Okay. The client work. Okay. If you're a writer, you're doing your writing tasks. You may be doing some admin stuff. Okay. It's the stuff the clients are paying for you. Okay. That is working in your business. Working on your business is anything and everything that you either want to do or need to do that isn't necessarily client paid, but it's going to help your business get better in the future. Okay. So that could be new business development. That could be self-promotion. That could be bookkeeping, because that's everyone's favorite, right? Anything that will move your business forward. I got to tell you, this has been a lifesaver to me. The minute I started adhering to this concept, oh my gosh, oh, it was like the clouds open up above, right? And it was like, okay, now I'm taking my business seriously and it paid off. Okay. So if you're one of those people who might be walking down the hall in your bunny slippers with the coffee, like, I don't have any work to do today, or I've got one thing and then I'm done, or whatever. No, no, no. You know, or maybe you have too much work to do. Like, I have to go to work today. Like, flip the narrative in your head. Shift it to a positive mindset. I get to go to work today. Okay, again, just simple little shifts in your head. I get to go to work today. Or I only have one project. It's going to take me, I don't know, an hour and a half. I still have 6.5 hours. What am I going to do at that time? Oh my gosh, I've been given the gift of time to work on all of this stuff that I want to get done. Right now, I don't know about you, but I constantly have these little post-it notes around here with stuff that I want to get done. I'm constantly jotting down ideas of, oh, I need to do this or I want to do this. Okay, guess what? I got 6.5 hours. What can I get done in that time? Or if it's maybe I only have 30 minutes or an hour or whatever, what can I get done in that time? Game changer, complete and total game changer. Mindset hack. Okay. Working during those office hours, no matter what, total game changer. So, highly, highly recommend. Okay. Questions, comments on that? Anybody gonna try it? You'll have to come back and let me know if it works for you. Okay. If you are brand new to the space, here we go. Office hours working really well. How many hours per day? 8 isn't enough. I know. Okay. We should talk about this. So, you want to have a healthy work-life balance, right? 8 hours a day is the optimal, is the typical, right? Is it too little? Is it too much? Totally depends on who you are and what you do. All right. If you find that you are working way too much, maybe it's time to outsource some stuff and get some help, right? You could hire a virtual assistant. That could be really helpful. If you're doing all your social media and that is not your forte, maybe you outsource that, right? There's a lot of stuff to go to that. Can I repeat the client paid versus admin work advice? Working on and in your business. Working in your business is doing the stuff that's client paid, and working on your business is doing the stuff that is going to move the needle forward. Everything you want to do or need to do that doesn't necessarily pay the bills. Okay. All right. Working from home is or can be extraordinarily difficult. All right. Because there's a lot of distractions. So I want to get you in the right mindset, right? The right headspace to go to work. If you have an extra room that you can get set up as a dedicated office, do it. That's golden. You should be very happy about that. If you don't, then find some sort of space in the home that you can dedicate as your workspace. Okay. Is it a dining room table that never gets used? Is it a folding table that you set up in a corner in the basement? Whatever it is, find something that you say, that is my workspace. And that is where I'm going to go every day. Now, again, when you work for yourself, it's easy to um, take advantage of things, right? I work from home. I can go work from the couch or work from bed or a beanbag chair or futon. Does anybody still have those? I have a futon. um, but you can. That doesn't mean you ought to. I know it's more comfortable, but I will tell you again, the science shows that you are way more productive when you are sitting upright, okay, in a chair. If you can get an office chair, perfect. If not, do a kitchen chair, something where, or a dining room chair, something where you're sitting upright. Again, it tells your mind it's time to go to work, right? Just like when we got showered and got dressed in the morning. One thing I forgot to tell you, when you get dressed, don't forget hard-soled shoes. Again, if you're working from home, nobody's looking at your shoes, right? But those hard soles tell your brain it's time to go to work. We need to tell ourselves it's time to go to work. All right. If you have a dedicated space where you can close the door and rid yourself of some distractions, maybe there's other people in the home, whether it's a spouse, a partner, kids, pets, even, right? Anything to fend off those distractions. We have to get in the right mindset. I don't know about you, but I'm easily distracted. And science says that it takes us at least 15 minutes to get back our focus. So the littlest thing distracts me and boom, I'm off, right? Now I got to get back in the swing of things. So I want to do everything I can in my power to ensure that I'm not getting distracted. And that may mean closing the door. If you have kids, maybe putting even a little sign on the outside of your door telling them, that you're busy right now and you'll deal with them later, provided they're not too little, right, of the kids. But anything you can do to minimize distractions. What else can be distractions in the home? I know my list. I want to know what your distractions are. Yes, the hard-soled shoe habit does work. Absolutely. Yay, desk chair on the Christmas list. Fantastic. Yes. Oh yeah, get one with good lumbar support. Ask me how I know. I have a pillow behind me right now. Messes around the house. I think, honestly, I cannot work in a messy space, right? Or I keep thinking, oh my gosh, I have chores to do or errands to run, right? Again, we have to get into this right mindset. Stand up to, option desk, home screen. You guys are good. These are all good. Okay, so all of these things can be distractions, right? Okay, so even if somebody calls you on the phone, like maybe it's a parent or a friend, maybe somebody says, "Oh, you work for yourself. You can go have a play date, for lack of a better term, right? You can go to the movies, or hey, let's cut out of work early, and it's a beautiful day. Let's go get margaritas on a patio somewhere." Yeah, that sounds amazing. And once in a blue moon isn't going to hurt you, but you've got to get in the right mindset of you have working hours that you need to be working. All right. Yes, notifications from social media, very, very distracting. All of these. Okay, y'all, this is great. Great list. Great list. Okay. Mindset, office hours. Okay. Let's say they are 9 to 5. I'm just throwing that out there. Okay. Tell your spouse, tell your kids, tell your pets, not that they listen, but any of the above. But there are things that we can try and do, right? Your family and friends. All of these things, you've got to get in the right mindset. Okay, so you tell yourself first, these are the hours I'm working. Then you tell them, and even them, people you call, right? So if your mom is one of those people, anybody else, she'll call in the middle of the workday to talk about nothing for 45 minutes on end. Boundaries. Boundaries. Mom, I'm working. Treat this like any other job. Call me during the lunch hour or after work. You know? Okay. We have to train ourselves first and then we train other people. In that same realm, when it comes to TV or a podcast or video games or whatever it is that distracts you, chores, errands, keep it outside of your workspace and keep it for after hours or before hours if you're a morning person. I'm not a morning person. Okay, or your lunch break, right? But not during working hours. You've got to train yourself. Okay. I, sorry, I laugh because this story comes, my ex-husband, where Cortes comes from, my last name. I've been remarried many years now, but my ex-husband would go to work to his full-time job during the day, come home, and he'd be like, well, why isn't the cleaning done and the laundry and the cooking? And I'm like, oh my gosh, because I'm working. He just did not understand that concept. He thought, oh, you work from home, therefore you can get all this stuff done. Well, yeah, I can, but not if I also want to run a business and have a successful business, right? There's a reason he's the ex. Okay. But we've got to train ourselves first and then train everybody else. Make it a habit. In that same vein, I want you all to practice self-care. So, oh, yes, Captain Obvious, you are on top of it. I'm self-employed, not unemployed. Exactly. Exactly. Okay, practice self-care. This affects us so very deeply. I'm not a wooey person, but there is so much to be said for getting enough sleep, for taking care of your hygiene, for incorporating healthy habits, whether it's eating or drinking or exercising, all of the above. We've got to take care of ourselves. Again, remember that look good, feel good, do good concept? It all comes into play. All right. Now, again, I've made my fair share of mistakes in the past. I haven't always been this freelance rock star, but I've learned what works and what doesn't work. And I can tell you that self-care is essential. If your body tells you that you need 8 hours of sleep at night, get 8 hours of sleep at night. Okay. Really strive for it. Okay. Hygiene. Again, shower, wash your face, brush your teeth, those things. Put on deodorant, please. And thank you. Right? Watch what you eat, watch what you drink, whatever your vices are, temper them. Get exercise, get vitamin D, get fresh air, all the things that you know you should be doing, like go do those things because they're going to have a profound impact on your work. Okay. Yes, Pilates. There you go. Very good. Very good. Okay. So now, what else can you do for your business aside from waking up, kicking ass, and repeating every single day? And that is treating your business like a business and not like a hobby. So when I say this, that means I don't want you to act like you're some fly-by-night freelancer or somebody who is unemployed and just trying to make ends meet. Okay, that means if you want to do this, get serious about it, right? Set yourself up as a business, whether that's as, excuse me, an LLC or an S corp or whatever looks right for you in your business. That means getting educated on all of the things. All of the things. What are best business practices? What are industry standards? What are legal issues you need to be aware of, or accounting things, or gosh, tax laws? Get educated on all of the things. Okay. Also, presenting yourself as a business, presenting yourself in the most professional light is a game changer as well. You've got to be able to command respect from other people. So think like your brand, which we'll talk about later. Think about a website, a professional website. Think about paperwork, having all your I's dotted and your T's crossed, even an email address, being professional. Okay. I know a gal, bless her heart, she still uses an AOL account for her business. What do you think that does for her reputation? It's not doing her any favors. Okay. So even if you're just starting out, reserve a website domain. I know it may take some time to get that website up and going, but it doesn't cost a lot to reserve the domain, and you can get a professional email address like that with your domain on the back end. So it's not at AOL or at Gmail or whatever the case may be. Okay. You want to present yourself in a professional light. Treat your business like a business. Okay. You're not a hobby. You're a business owner. We got to remember that. Okay. And then the bonuses, of course, when you act like a business, you get treated like a business. Again, you're going to command that respect that you deserve. That's what happens when you embrace a business owner's mindset. Okay. Hire a, yes, get a good team behind you. 100%, Caitlin. Hire a bookkeeper, CPA, mentor, coach. I'm one of those people where I really feel like, know your strengths and weaknesses, and then surround yourself with smart and talented people. You can't be good at all of the things. It's really very, very unlikely that you are. So know your strengths and weaknesses and hire out, outsource the rest. I know I don't know legal stuff. I don't pretend to. I know I don't know accounting stuff. I don't pretend to, right? So I'm going to hire an accountant. I'm going to hire an attorney. I'm going to hire a graphic designer, whatever that looks like for you. Okay. Huge, huge, huge. Okay. One of the best things about being a business owner is that you get to make the rules, right? You get to call the shots. You get to create those policies and procedures. You get to set boundaries, like what happens if a client wants to call you at 10 o'clock at night? Nope. Right? We're going to talk about that later. Okay. But you get to decide all of these things, and then you get to establish these expectations. Like, for example, I expect my clients to, if they want to talk on the phone or have a Zoom call or a meeting, we're going to do it during office hours, not at 10 o'clock at night. Okay. You get to decide all of this. And if you use things that make you look like a professional, if you use a legal contract, for example, when it's applicable, that is going to position you as a professional. You just got to be able to communicate well to people who you are, what you do, what those expectations are. Okay. Yes, letters of engagement. Absolutely. Absolutely. I use the royal we. Oh, yeah. We are excited to work with you. We have inventory. Some people really believe in that. Absolutely. I'm not one of them. No offense. Um, I prefer to be authentic and transparent, yet I totally understand the psychology behind it. So I'm not dogging on you, whatever your name is, Captain Obvious. I just prefer to be transparent. Okay, now that you've got your mindset and motivation under control, we can move on to those policies and procedures. Okay, so let's check them out. What does that look like? Let's think of different scenarios for if and when you would need to set up policies and procedures. Now, again, everybody here does something different. Okay, so what may be applicable to me may not be right for the landscaper, let's say. Okay, so figure out what is applicable to you. Okay, think about different areas. Like for example, let's say you get a new customer or a new client. what does your onboarding process look like? Or what does it look like when you first get started? Because you want your business to run like a well-oiled machine, right? So, for example, in my world, what that may look like is first we're going to do a discovery call, right? Maybe that's my free consultation that I offer, and it's half an hour. We do it over Zoom, okay? And that's where not only are they interviewing me, but I'm interviewing them because I want to make sure that this is going to be the right fit. Okay, so it's both ways going interview. Will the recording be sent out? Yes, yes, yes. Um, okay. Once we have the discovery call, now I have a better idea of what it is that this potential client needs. I'm going to put together an estimate. Okay. And then I'm going to send that over. Hopefully the client will approve it and agree to it. And then we'll get on our merry way. After the estimate, then I'm sending a contract, or you may call it a working agreement, right? Letters of engagement, whatever you want to call it. You send over that contract. You may have a request for deposit. So you'd send over an invoice for that deposit. Okay. So you do all of that. That's the admin stuff. That's the paperwork behind the scenes. And then what happens next? Let's say, okay, so they sign the contract, they pay the deposit, and you're ready to get going. So then what does your process look like? Do you set up a new folder on your desktop? Or do you have a filing cabinet and you need to put, papers or whatever brochures in this, in a file, in a paper file? Okay. Do you need to assign a job number, a PO number? Okay. Any of that. This is where you do all of those things. Do you have a CRM? Do you have client management tracking systems? Do you have project tracking softwares or spreadsheets? Okay. This is when you would do all of those things. Okay. Also, as part of your policies and procedures, you're going to be determining what payment looks like. Remember, you're the owner, you're the boss, you get to make the rules, which is pretty awesome. So you heard me mention a deposit before. In my line of work, it's traditional that we ask for 50% deposit up front and 50% upon completion of the work. Okay. You determine what your policy is and what is accurate for your industry. Okay. What is commonplace? What is best business practices? Okay. In your industry. Some people will do like milestone billing, like they get a third up front, they get a third when, let's say, the concept is approved, and a third when the project's complete. Whatever that looks like for you, you get to determine that. Okay. And the same goes for payment terms. You get to decide that as well. Do you get paid all up front? Do you get paid, upon receipt when you send that final invoice? Do you get paid within 15 days? Do you get paid within 30 days, 45 days? Completely up to you. Now, there are some companies who like to try to take advantage of the self-employed, and they try to dictate payment rules. Okay. Keep in mind that everything is open to negotiations. That means your contract, your policies, their contract, their policies. Okay. Everything's up for negotiations. I will say, is there buzzing in the background? My space heater kicked on. It should kick off in a minute. But I didn't think it was that loud. Okay, it's not. Thank you. Okay, so you get to decide all of that for your payment terms. Like I said, there are some companies who will try to dictate your payment terms for you. Don't let them. Okay. Again, you're a business owner. For example, there's a local ad agency here in Kansas City who tells their freelancers in their contract that the freelancers will get paid within or after, what was it? I think it was within 30 days after they get paid by the client. That's not fair. What if they don't get paid from their client within 6 months? That means we have to wait 7 months? That's not cool, right? So we get to dictate those terms, right? And if a client gives you their contract and they have terms in there that you don't agree with, just remember everything is negotiable. All right, hang on. I got to read through your comments. What is a good way to keep track of the internal process you walked through? I would map it out, honestly. You could do it in an Excel spreadsheet, just how are you visually, right? Do you want to sketch it out? Do you want to color code it? whatever that word looks like for you. Just make sure you have some sort of process because again, once you get going, you're going to want it to be a well-oiled machine. Um, corporate minutes book is a good idea. Okay, let's qualify clients financial. Emily, that's a great question. I don't have the answer for that, quite honestly. I will say there are some things you can do. Google the business, Google the person who you're working with, look at the Better Business Bureau, see if they have anything there. Check with your local chamber or their local chamber, wherever, if they're out of state or not local. My personal experience, and again, this is just me working in the ad industry in Kansas City. My personal experience has been if it is a large company, if it is like a big hospital system or an educational system, a big corporation, I usually don't have any trouble. If it is a small business, if it's a startup, that's when my eyebrows get raised because I have had more trouble with them. Okay. So keep that in mind going forward. Again, my personal policy when it comes to contracts and deposits and whatnot, if the client or potential client is not willing to sign a contract and or pay the deposit up front, those are two huge red flags for me. Now, I used to turn around and run far away, run very fast, but now I turn around and ask why. Okay. If they won't sign my contract, do they have a contract of their own? Like I said, this one agency I was working with, they had a contract of their own. Most of the time, it's fine. Just make sure you read through it with the fine-tooth comb and make sure that the things that are most important to you are in there. For example, payment terms for me, very important. Okay. That I get paid within 30 days. Okay. Yes. Trade associations. Absolutely. Very, very good. Okay. So let's say that client doesn't give you, let's say they've paid everything up front. Let's say they signed your paperwork, but you're waiting on information from them before you can get started on your part of the project or whatever it is that you're doing for them. Okay. This is also something that you can stipulate in a contract ahead of time. Like, let's say, as a writer, I'm writing a website for somebody, but I'm waiting on them to get me the materials. And we have a hard and fast deadline. Let's say it's December 30th. And let's say they give me the materials December 25th. Not only is that a holiday, but there's no way I'm going to be able to get that done by the end of the month. Okay. So you can put these stipulations in your contract that says, if client doesn't give me what it is that I need by XYZ date, I'm not going to be able to meet the deadline. Make sure that they understand that there is a lot of responsibility on them as well. Okay. So again, we're putting in boundaries, right? We're establishing how we're going to communicate and how things are going to work by way of timelines and deadlines. What about those clients who are constantly changing things up on us, right? Surprise, that wasn't included in the scope. That wasn't in my estimate. Okay. Open, honest communication, dialogue. If that scope creep keeps going, then you can have that conversation with them and say, hey, listen, happy to do this for you. This wasn't included in on the original estimate. So just keep in mind that, this is going to go above and beyond. Yes, change order. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. What if somebody wants to schedule a call with you after your office hours, or it's during a holiday, or overnight, or over a weekend, or they want something done? What do you do? What do you do? Y'all are like, Julie, you're supposed to be telling us, right? Okay, boundaries. Here's something that I've learned that works. Taking control at the very beginning and guiding them through the process. Now, oftentimes we are working with people who know how to do these things already, and they've worked with other self-employed people before, and oftentimes we're working with brand new people who don't have a clue, right? Counter offer a time. Yes, during your office hours. How much do they pay? Absolutely. Okay. So you can say no. Let's say somebody wants to schedule a meeting at 8 o'clock at night. That is your personal family time. You're not going to do that, right? Okay. But that's their only opportunity. So you either decline it or you take the meeting and you charge extra. Okay. You are well within your given right to charge extra for anything that goes above and beyond your typical office hours, provided that your office hours are standard hours. Okay. So Let's say this client wants to meet at 8 p.m. Sure, I'm happy to do that. But instead of charging an hourly rate, let's say that's what you do, now I'm going to charge time and a half, or I'm going to charge double. Let's say somebody wants you to do a project like super quick, right? I need this done by end of day today, or overnight, or over a weekend, or over a holiday. Okay. Either you say no, or you say happy to do that for an extra fee. Okay, a rush fee, whatever you want to call that. In my industry, it's typical, like I said, time and a half. Um, or some people, if they charge by the project, some people will double the project rate. Okay, put it in the terms and conditions. Perfect timing. Good. So glad to be helpful. Okay, good, good, good. So just keep in mind, we have to guide the process. So that means we have to come to the table with these policies and procedures like worked out in advance. So we show up with confidence, because when you show up with confidence, then that's going to help you guide the situation and take control of the situation. Because again, I don't know why it is, but some people like to take advantage of the self-employed, whether it's on purpose or just because they don't know any better. So let's guide them. Let's take their hand and guide them through there. Okay. What happens if a client stops communicating with you altogether? Anybody ever been ghosted before? That's fun. Okay. Again, what is your policy for handling that? What if a client doesn't pay on time or doesn't appear to be paying at all? Yeah, going dark. What is your policy for that? Do you add late fees? Do you follow up every 30 days? If you do add late fees, how much and how often? Okay. Now, I know here in Kansas and Missouri, Kansas City's on the state line right here. Okay. I know in Kansas and Missouri, we are legally entitled to charge a whopping 1.5% late fee every 30 days, up to 18% a year. That's it, unfortunately. It may vary depending on where you are located. So look into that. You can Google it. Okay. But how much do you charge and how often? And it does accrue. Okay. So let's say the amount was $1,000. Okay. You bill them, day 31 comes around, you still haven't been paid. So now you add that 1.5%. Let's say another month goes by, they still haven't paid. You add another 1.5% on top of that new amount that you just charged them. How does a new freelancer predict all the case or client curveballs? There's always some pain and a learning curve. Yes and yes. Alex, I actually have a really good blog post on my website about freelance red flags. Remind me at the break, I'll get you the link to that. And that will give you a big heads up as to what might be coming your way. Okay. Also, what if they don't pay at all and they've completely ghosted you? Do you turn it over to collections? Do you take it to small claims court? Do you get an attorney involved? Like, all of these things can be super helpful. Now, my personal experience, again, this is just Julie Cortes, freelance writer in Kansas City here. I have found that by having an attorney back me up and sending what I like to call as a nasty gram, that typically gets me paid. All right. Of course, he says the same exact thing I just said. As per the agreement that you signed, you agreed to this. But for whatever reason, you get that attorney's seal of approval, stamp of approval, and boom, they pay. It doesn't happen often, but when it does happen, you want to be prepared. Okay. Now, again, we don't know why these things are happening. We don't know if they are truly bad people, right? We don't know if they have fallen on hard times. We don't know why. So I used to be the type of person who get really mad and be like, late fee, give me all your money and you suck. Okay. But now, of course, I think COVID kind of broke everybody. I try to give people the benefit of the doubt. Hey, is everything okay? I want to make sure that this invoice didn't get lost in your inbox, or, I haven't heard from you in a while. I hope you're feeling all right, like you're not in the hospital or something. I try to give people the benefit of the doubt, because you just don't know what's going on in people's lives. And maybe they have fallen on hard times, and maybe you could offer a payment plan. So they're still paying, they're giving good faith payments, right? Going forward, and you're getting some sort of cash flow. And you understand that they're not an evil person. So keep that in mind. It's all going to depend on the situation and the people who are involved. Would you mark them as a client who's required 100% deposit next time? Probably. That's a great question. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Something else that you can do going forward is before you start working with a brand new client is you can give them like a working with me document or a what to expect document. Some people have these made up as a PDF. Some people have them as like a private link on the back end of their website that they can send them to. Maybe it's just in an email, right? Here are my office hours. Here are the ways that I prefer to be communicated with. Okay. Here are my payment terms. Here's where you can make payment, like all of these things. Okay. Super helpful. You may even consider it a welcome kit, if you will. Just kind of setting those expectations ahead of time. Okay. Obviously, you might be able to put some of these things in your contract if and where it makes sense. Otherwise, just again, lead that conversation, lead the whole relationship. Okay. And then again, you're going to garner that respect that you want. Okay. So, because this is supposed to be a workshop, I have a worksheet for you. Never fear, it's coming to you in the chat. I'm going to give you two versions, one of which is a PDF coming your way. And then I'm going to try and send the JPEG as well for those who cannot open that. Oh, I can, file is blocked for security reasons. Well, that's rude. Why can't I do a JPEG on Zoom? Let's try that again. Hold on. Nope, it's blocked. I don't know what that's all about. Okay,
I
if
don't know, I didn't block you, but it could be a setting from like nationals when I'm not sure. I've never.
Okay, if you are unable to open PDFs, then here I will take a screenshot of this policy worksheet that you have here so you can blow it up. We're going to take a 5-minute break here, but I want you all to take a few minutes to review this and start thinking about your own business. Okay, the PDF is in the chat. It's titled Solopreneur Policies Worksheet. Okay, and it's also on your screen right now. But start thinking about this. When are your office hours? What are your payment terms? Are you going to use contracts if applicable? And if so, when? What are your rates? What are your fees? Are you going to offer discounts? All of the things. There's a setting to keep the bombers out, Jason says. Well, Michelle, were you able to see the PDF?
I can see the PDF, yeah.
The attachment as well?
Oh, you know what? I see what happened. You did it to hosts and panelists only. Sorry, I did not catch that. So can you drop your little blue box to everybody?
We will get it figured out. Yes, let me go find it again.
Sorry
Worksheet.
about that, guys. I was like, wait a second. I know she
My
just came
bad.
in.
My bad. Okay. Solopreneur worksheet. I wonder if that's why the JPEG wouldn't go either. Okay, so oh, it is set to hosts and panelists. You're right, to everyone. Let me try that again. No wonder Michelle got it. Okay, how about now?
It is there now. But I gotta tell you, I'm even the runner of this meeting and it won't let me put a JPEG in.
That's weird.
So yeah, I did.
Okay, absolutely. Okay, so we are going to take a 5-minute break. We will come back at 2:04.
Yes. And
So
Pamela,
yeah,
it's a 2-hour class, Pamela. Sorry, I just saw she thought it was an hour, but
yes, two
okay.
hour class here. Take a 5-minute break, use the restroom, refill your drink, whatever you need to do. Work on this worksheet, and we will be back in 5.
All
Thank
right.
you so much. Everybody come back.
I'm gonna pop on right before Julie gets back. Everybody, you will get the recording and you will get the slides. You will not get things in the chat, but there haven't been many things other than that worksheet, but that worksheet is included with what will come out to you. And I think I answered all the other questions. Everything that rolled in while we were on break, Julie, was specific to, back end organization stuff for this. So I think we are back exactly on track.
Okay, very good. And it's 2:05. We made it. We did it. Awesome. Okay, well, welcome back, everybody. And let's keep this party going. We got one more hour to go. I'm going to try and get you out of here before then, if that sounds good. Can you put the document in the chat again? I had to change devices. Michelle, can you do that while I keep going?
Yep, I will try to.
Great, thank you. Okay, so now we're going to move on to my favorite part of the programming, and that is branding and promotions. I say it's my favorite part because I work in advertising and marketing, right? So it just comes with the territory. So, it's one of those things, however you want to look at it, but you do have to put yourself out there when you're self-employed, because if you don't, how are people going to know who you are and what you do? Right? How are they going to know that they can buy from you or what you offer or how they can refer you? Okay. You have to tell them. And that's where branding and promotions comes into play. So we're going to start with your brand. If I were to ask you all, again, audience participation time, what is a brand? What might you tell me? What is a brand? Nike. Nike is a brand. What else? What is a brand? Look and feel. Good, Katie. Public image. Good, good, good. Personal reputation. Absolutely. I'm guessing that means logo. Statement that identify your company. Memorable experience, your name, idea. Okay. So most of you got it. Yes. Okay. So most often than not, when I ask people this, they're like, "Oh, it's your logo." But you all are good. You get it. Okay. Your logo is not your brand. Your brand is not your logo. Your logo is part of your brand. It reflects your brand, but it's not a brand. Okay. Your brand is very good. Y'all are getting this. Okay. Your brand is how people feel when you are not around. Okay, about you, about your work, about your company, your business. Okay, it's your company's reputation. All of these things come into play that build up your brand. So when we're talking your logo, your company name, the colors that you use, the fonts that you use, a theme, a tagline, your voice, what have you, all of these things come into play. Okay. Oh, look, we got a good definition here. Very good. Awesome. Okay. So, for those of you who are new to the game, and for those of you who have been around for a while and have a brand, just bear with me on this. We got to get through with the newbies here. But we're going to start with how to get branding, how to get branded. Okay. So, to brand yourself successfully, you need to understand that there's more strategy to it than just coming up with like a pretty picture or a cute graphic. And the way you're going to brand yourself is with this simple 5-step program, right? So when you go to create your brand, you want to define your company, determine what it is that you offer by way of product and or service, and determine your mission and values. Okay? That should be done even before you get to the branding process. But you've got to determine those things. What are the features and the benefits of the products or services that you're offering? What sort of qualities do you want people to associate with you, your brand, your company, your work? Okay, what do you want to be known for? Think about all of these things before you sit down to determine your brand. Once you've got that all figured out, you want to study the competition. Okay, now most everybody has competition. So let's figure out what it is that they're doing. What are they offering? How does your business, your work, your services, your products, how do they compare? And then also look at your competition and determine what are they doing to market themselves. Okay, because you want to be studying them. What are they doing that's working? What's not working? What do you like? What do you not like? How can you differentiate yourself from them? Okay. That brings us to the next point. Okay. Determine and highlight your USP. USP stands for unique selling proposition or unique selling point. You may have heard that term before. And essentially, what that is, that's fancy marketing speak for it to mean your differentiator. What makes you unique? What makes you different? Why should clients or customers buy from you as opposed to your competition? Okay. This is a very integral step that a lot of people forget, and a lot of people miss this. Okay. I want you all to take a minute and think about this because it's so important. What makes you unique? Now, I want it to be so unique that nobody else can claim it. I'll give you an example. I had one client tell me, "Oh, Julie, our USP is that we have the best customer service." Okay, everybody around town can claim that, or they say that they do. What makes your customer service even better? Why are you the best customer service? Oh, well, we have 24 hours, somebody answers the phone 24 hours a day. Great. Does anybody else in your competition do that? Well, no. Okay, that is your USP. Okay. It's not overarching generic, it's very specific. What makes you unique slash better than your competition? All right. Now, I've been showing my USP throughout this entire conversation, this entire presentation so far. Anybody want to take a guess as to what it is? Anybody? Anybody? Any brave souls out there? You might be right. Put it in the chat. Let me know. My style. Freelance Rockstar is my brand, not my USP. It's also my theme. Okay. What else? Anybody? Your years of experience. Solopreneur. We're all solopreneurs here. The brick wall. What is my USP? What is it that makes me different? Energy and passion. Okay. All right. Ah, Katie got it. The hair. Everybody always brings up the hair. Yes, the brand is reflected in my hair, but it is not my USP. All right. What makes me unique and different than my competition? I have friends who are fellow freelance copywriters who are just as good as writing advertisements as I am. Okay. But what makes working with me is my fun personality, right? And I play that up in absolutely everything that I do. Okay. I told you at the very beginning we were going to have fun. We're having fun. We're at a business webinar and we're having fun. Okay. I make things fun. And it's part of my personality. Okay. Yes, I'm very energetic. I'm very passionate. I bring all of that to the table. I know if I am going up to pitch a client and I know I've got some competition and I know who that competition is, I always know to play up that USP because my competition doesn't know this little trick, right? And 9 times out of 10, I win the account. Okay. So it's a marketing trick that we use. Figure out what your differentiator is. It doesn't have to be your personality. It may be that you've got more years experience in one particular vertical than anybody else does. Okay. Whatever the case may be, what makes you different? What makes you unique? Maybe you answer the phone 24/7. I don't recommend it if you're a solopreneur, but what is your USP? And then you want to show that in everything that you do. Okay. And we'll get to that a little bit later, as in the hair, the brand. Okay. Next is to study your target audience. Your target audience are it's your potential customers, your potential clients. Who are they? What do they do? And then you get to have a little bit of fun, right? And we get into psychology and you study their demographics and their psychographics. What are their demographics? Demographics are who, what, when, where, why, right? Who are they, right? We really want to study them. Like, so let's say I'm looking at ad agencies. I want to pick up ad agencies as my clients. And I'm looking at what is the title of the person within the ad agency who would be my direct contact? Well, it's probably going to be a creative director or a marketing manager. Okay. How old do I think these people are? What sort of education level do I think they have? Okay. What what sort of background do they have? All of these things, okay? All of these things are super important when it comes to demographics because we want to figure out like who we're targeting. And then psychographics is more on the psychology side of things, like what is going to motivate them to buy from you? Okay, so psychographics, let's think of what kind of car do they drive? What kind of music do they listen to? What do they like to do for fun on the weekends? Now, a lot of this is a guessing game until you really can discover who that person is that you're targeting. And then maybe you can do some subtle stalking or research on the internet, whatever you can find. Okay. But for the most part, you're going to find some sort of bucket that you can lump them into. Okay. And start creating an avatar for who your target audience is. Okay. What's going to appeal to them? And again, what's going to motivate them to buy from you? That is awesome, Katie. I love it. Okay. And then obviously you're going to want to share your brand everywhere. And when I say everywhere, I mean everywhere. Now, you don't need to have your hair colored in your brand colors. That's just me. Okay. I'll tell you what, though, people remember me. They do not forget me. If I ever get rid of this, I'm screwed. But honestly, you want to share it everywhere. So I'm talking, yes, presentation decks, your website, your business cards, your social media pages, and more. You want to keep your brand consistent across the board. So when people see that, they know that's you. I tell you what, when people see a blue, purple, and pink gradient brick wall, guess who they think of? Okay. You want to, so to speak, own your brand. So you're going to have it shown everywhere. So I am going to show you some examples here. Now, I don't intend for this to be the Julie show, so bear with me here. It's just easier to show my own stuff. But find some people in your own industry and go study what they're doing, okay? So here's the homepage of my website. Anything look familiar to you? See that brick wall again? Okay. Also look at the fonts. Okay. Look, everything is going to be consistent across the board. Okay. So start looking at people's websites. Look at your competitors' websites. All right. Now we're going to get into social media. You can have branded social media covers, right? This, excuse me, we've got Facebook, we've got LinkedIn, we have, I think one of those is Twitter. Some of the platforms don't allow for a cover photo, unfortunately, but there are ways to brand it and make it consistent. Oh, yes, color theory is very powerful. Is my blazer velvet? No. I do have a purple velvet one and it's pretty badass. I love it. Oh, the one in the picture. Yes. Yes. That is velvet or velour or whatever they're calling it these days. Okay, but look how it's the same across the board. Now, every social media platform has its own shape and size. It's really a pain in the ass. I wish they would be consistent across the board, but they're not. So you want to be very careful about making sure that your size is correct on each of the platforms. Easy Google search. What is the size for whatever it is you're doing? And then also pay attention to where your profile picture is going to hit on these things because you don't want it to cover it. Okay, so this one I believe is LinkedIn. So like my profile picture would hit right here. Okay, and then also check it out on mobile too to make sure you're not hitting that. Velvet evokes feelings of comfort and approachability. And purple, if I remember correctly, it's like of wealth, right? Which wasn't what I was going for, but like royalty, which I like, Rockstar, right? Okay, so this is social media. And then, like I said, not every platform allows for a cover photo, but there are ways to get around that. So here's Instagram, for example. And you'll notice that my highlight covers are all in my colors here. So that really works. And then my bio is pretty much the same on every single platform as well. So keep that in mind. You can also on Instagram, you can pin, you can see, I know I just cut it off the screenshot here, but you can see these little pin posts. You can pin the top 3 posts that you want. And so if you've got something branded on there, you can use that. Okay. Think about all of the different places that you can showcase your brand, right? So I showed my website, I showed social media. Think of all of the places. Okay, website, business cards, social media profiles, social media posts, your email address. We talked about that, right? Okay, your email signature. You can brand that. If you do an email newsletter, you can brand that. Slide decks, if you give presentations, decals, stickers, yes, swag, business supplies. Anybody see my phone case? Right? Do you see that? Okay, that's branded as well. Any sort of business supplies, you can do tumblers, you can do pins, you can do coasters, your clothing. Maybe you do thank you cards, all of the above. Do I have a personal Instagram in addition to business? I don't. I know some people who do. How do I recommend managing that? I primarily use my Instagram for business. Every once in a while, I do a personal post, but I tend to get a little bit more personal in my stories. That's just me. If you're really concerned about, like if you have little kids or something and you don't want random people seeing your little kids, I totally get that. You can have a private personal account. There's nothing wrong with having two different accounts. Okay, it's just what you want to manage. So, lots of opportunities here for you to showcase your brand. And I encourage you to think outside the box. Again, you don't have to have your hair done. You don't have to wear the purple blazer, right? But little touches every here and there, right? We heard about the gal who had the feather in her hat or the earrings or whatever. Little touches here and there to remind people. Okay. Um, some people have personalized license plate frames. You could totally do that. Or personalized license plates in and of themselves. You could put a decal on your car. Some people do those big magnets on their cars. Um, Totally up to you what you want to do. You could even have like if you're going in person to meet with somebody, maybe your laptop case is your brand colors, or the little pad folio you take with you to take notes, or the color of the pen is your brand colors. Little touches here and there to remind people of your brand, okay? Psychology works. Have I used or plan to use AI to support branding and also as a tool within your business? That is a loaded question. Um, I'm a late adopter to AI, and I am not a huge fan of it when it comes to actually doing the creative work because I come from the creative industry. They're taking our jobs, they really are. Um, I think it could be helpful for brainstorming. I would not rely on it to do like the actual writing or the design. Um, just my 2 cents there on that. But again, I'm a late adopter, so take that with what you will. Um, okay. Anything else? What else might you do that's branded? You notice I mentioned thank you cards. Anything else? Like just let your mind go wild. There's so many ideas out there, right? Don't be limited. Wherever you can showcase your brand, you want to do that. You're fine. Lanyards at conferences, I like it. Ah, yes. Your Zoom background. Ooh, I love that. I love that. We could dive into a whole conversation on AI. I don't want to get distracted here because I'm sure we have people who are pro AI and anti AI, and that's not what this is about. So let's get back on track. Um, so let's move on from branding, and now we're going to talk about how to implement that brand into our promotions, okay? Because there are so many things you can do to promote yourself. And so you want to find what's right for you, what resonates most with you and with your audience. Okay, again, the whole idea is to get your target audience to buy from you. Now, number one here is a website. I'm going to say personal experience, personal opinion. I think you absolutely positively have to have some sort of online presence. I know when you're first starting out, it's a lot to get a website, okay? But there are other things you can do if you're not ready for that website just yet, okay? Or you could just get the domain page and have a landing domain reserved and have a landing page while you build out your website. You could have a Google business profile, very important. Social media profiles, very important. Um, Depending on your industry, there are different directories that you could be in. okay, or different places you could show your work. Again, depending on the industry, there's a lot of different opportunities. I just think you have to have some sort of online presence. I think in today's digital age, if you don't have any sort of online presence, I think you're doing yourself a huge disservice. Um, what are your views on Upwork? That's also a loaded question. Personally, I'm not a fan. I feel like Upwork and Fiverr devalue my profession. I feel like those platforms attract freelancers from third world countries who are offering work on for pennies on the dollar, which you could find some very talented people there, and you could not. Um, I'm not a fan of it personally because as a freelancer, I find that I'm competing with these people who are charging, let's say, $8 an hour. I can't compete with that, nor do I want to. And I feel like it's teaching people that my industry and my work is not worth what I charge. So, yes, moving things along. Um, if y'all have additional questions that are outside of what I'm covering, feel free to email me at the end. I'll give you my email address at the end and we can have those conversations offline. Um, anyway, let's get back to promoting. So, website I think is important, social media I think is important. If you yourself do not like social media, I totally get it. It's not for everybody. However, if you run a business, again, you kind of have to have that presence. Outsource it. Find somebody who loves it. Find a social media manager to help you with that. Okay. Now, you do not have to have a social media presence on every single platform out there. Remember what works for you and where is your target audience? Where are they hanging out? Okay. Super, super important. Okay. When it comes to social media, it's easy, it's free, it's cheap, but don't just post. You also need to engage. Consider sponsoring posts, buying paid ads, maybe using groups. Again, whatever is right for you and your audience. I'm going to get to your questions in a minute. Um, Okay, video. Video is huge nowadays, especially short form video. If you can integrate that some way, somehow, please do. Put it on your website, have a YouTube channel, put it in an email newsletter, whatever works for you. Video is huge, so take advantage of that. What is also huge, which people don't really realize, is email marketing. All right. Most people instinctively run to social media because, again, it's easy and it's free, but it doesn't have a high conversion rate. If we think about a traditional sales funnel, and I know I don't have a graphic in front of me, but okay, think of a funnel, right? And at the top is the awareness stage, and at the very bottom is where they purchase from you. Social media is at the very top, at the awareness. You got to get them all the way through the funnel to where they purchase from you. So, email. So you have to have somebody's permission to put them on your email list. You cannot just automatically do that, put somebody on the list. There are laws against that. Okay. You have to have their permission. That means they want to hear from you. That means they want your newsletter in their inbox. That means they're more likely to buy from you. So take advantage of email marketing. It is huge with that much larger conversion rate. So start building a list and start emailing your audience. Traditional advertising and marketing, that's what you would think of when it comes to like print ads, like magazine ads or newspaper ads, or even broadcasts like radio commercials, TV commercials, those kind of things. Some of these things can get really expensive. So it just totally depends, again, on who you are, what you do, where your target audience is, and if it seems right um, at the time. Okay. You're welcome. Digital ads, think banner ads on websites or HTML ads in other people's or other organizations' newsletters, email newsletters. You could even do direct mail. Direct mail is in the mail, snail mail, right? Sending a letter, sending a postcard, sending some sort of printed piece in the mail. Not a lot of people do snail mail anymore, direct mail anymore. So it's a good way to stand out. Okay. Um, PR is public relations. You could do speaking engagements. You could enter award shows. You could do media interviews. You could write articles or blog posts. There's a flurry of different things you can do when it comes to public relations. Trade shows, Jason, here you go. You can exhibit at trade shows, at conferences, at festivals and fairs. Again, whatever is right for you and your audience and your industry. Networking and volunteering, I got to tell y'all, I built my business on this, on both networking and volunteering, because there's this concept that people like to work with those whom they know, like, and trust. And so, how do you become that person, right? You network, you see people all the time, they get to know you, then they like you, then they trust you. So, either they're going to buy from you or they're going to refer you, which is what you want. Okay. So, don't discount networking and volunteering. Social proof is a marketing term that probably most of you have probably never heard of, but think of case studies. Think of testimonials or referrals or recommendations, or even if you've had some media interviews or you've been featured in the media. Maybe you've seen on somebody's website, they've got like the logos, like I was on ABC News or CNN or whatever it is, right? They have those logos. That's social proof as well. Anything that if somebody's visiting your website or social media page and they were to see that, we're like, oh, okay. It's like that added trigger in their mind, like, oh, that's proof right there that they must be good at what they do. Okay. Or they see Yolanda gave you a raving review, right? This stellar testimonial. Oh, I know Yolanda. I trust her opinion, and therefore I'm going to hire Julie too, right? It's these little subconscious things that are happening in their brain when it comes to social proof. And then, of course, holiday gifts. We've got the holidays upon us. You can always give these to potential clients as well as existing clients. This is kind of a thank you. So going forward. So, a lot of opportunities here, what you can do to promote yourself. I do want to dive in a little bit on the networking aspect because, like I said, I grew my business networking, and I think you can too because it's all in who knows you, right? And who likes you and who trusts you. How many of you have these random people who like will connect with you on LinkedIn, and the next thing you know, they're spamming you in your inbox? Like, I sit there and I think, I don't know you. I don't like you. I don't trust you. Why do you think, why on God's earth do you think I'm going to buy from you like instantly? Just me? Am I the only one who gets these? Oh my gosh, they're obnoxious. Don't be that person, please, and thank you. Yes, it sucks. I get it. I totally don't know. Um, where these people come from or who taught them that this works. I would really love to know the statistics because I get it all the time. And then they show back up in your inbox like 3, 4 times. And after like the fifth time, I'm like, yeah, go away. I don't want to be connected to you anymore. You're annoying. Okay. So let's try some networking. Let me ask you all, where could you go networking where your target audience might be? Let's do some brainstorming here together. Okay. Think about your target audience. Who are they? What do they do? Where do they work? What kind of events do they go to? What kind of organizations are they part of? Home shows. Good. Good, good. PTA, chambers. Perfect. Very good. Anybody else? Corporations. Okay. Good. Yes. Nonprofit conferences, startups. Okay, we've got a lot of, there we go. I was going to say, we've got a lot of in-person events. Also, don't discount online networking, like LinkedIn groups, Facebook groups, forums, anything like that. Professional organizations. There you go. Okay, good. Score events. Here we go. I love it. Okay, so think in advance where you want to go. I like to do a plan. Like, let's say I want to average 3 networking events a month. Okay, so I'm going to plan in advance what's available, what's going on, where do I want to go, how much money do I want to spend? And then I want to have a plan. Like, are there people there who I specifically want to target? If you can see the guest list ahead of time, like on Facebook, you can see who all's coming, maybe on LinkedIn too. Um, Kind of study in advance. Oh, I definitely want to talk to Sally or whoever it is, right? Maybe you do a little, again, light stalking, whatever's available. Check out their LinkedIn profile, do a little Google ahead of time, so you can have a good conversation with them. Yes, conventions is good too. Okay, now, if you are going in person to a networking event, I'm going to get a little cheesy on you here, okay, but I want you to take with you a networking toolkit. In your toolkit, obviously, number one thing you want to bring is business cards. All right, have business cards on you. Now, you do not need to bring 50 business cards. We're going to be talking quality over quantity. Okay. Again, plan in advance, set a goal for yourself. And let's say you're an extrovert. Let's make a goal of you want to walk away with 5 quality contacts by the end of this event. Okay. If you're an introvert, don't put that kind of pressure on yourself. Maybe it's 2 or 3. Okay. Cut yourself some slack. Know who you are. Okay. Okay, so take some business cards. A handful at best is fine. You may also consider bringing a pin so you can write on the back of the business card where you met them, what you talked about, or bring a little notebook with you if that will fit in a back pocket or a purse. Okay, or you keep it in the car. And as soon as you get in the car, you write some notes. I don't know about you. I meet a lot of people. I forget things very easily. So I want to be able to write things down. And then so I'll have that available for my follow-up, which we'll get to in a minute. Um, okay, you want to bring an elevator speech with you. Okay, we'll talk about what an elevator speech is here in the next slide, but and how to put one together. But this is how you answer when somebody asks you, "Oh, tell me about yourself," or "What do you do?" Okay, that's your elevator speech. You want to bring a firm handshake with you. Okay, not too firm, don't break my hand, and not too limp. Please let me know that you mean business here. Okay. If you are the type of person who has sweaty palms, please, for the love of all things purple, carry a napkin with you or something and wipe off your palms. There's nothing weirder than shaking hands with somebody with sweaty palms. Um, eye contact, super important. Okay. Look the person in the eye when you're shaking their hands, when you're talking with them. Also bring with you a smile. That's always good. Okay. Think about that. Eye contact, smile, all of these things, even your, uh, I'm blanking here, your body, your posture. Okay. Think about your body language. That's the word I'm looking for. Language. Okay. Think about all of that and how it portrays. And then last but not least, in your networking toolkit, I want you to have breath mints or gum, and you will thank me later. Because how often do we go to networking events and let's say it's a coffee meetup and now you have coffee breath, or it's a networking happy hour and there's appetizers that have garlic and onions. Very delicious, but not good for the breath. Okay. You want to be as confident as possible, so be prepared and bring mints or gum with you. Okay. Now, let's say you get there, you don't know anybody there, so you march up to somebody who, let's say they're there alone too, and they're not talking to anybody. What are some good icebreakers? You don't necessarily have to talk about the industry. Just, hey, how you doing? What brings you here today? Have you seen this speaker before? Or wow, the weather's deceiving. It's sunny out, but it's really cold. It doesn't have to be industry related. It could just be small talk. Or those new shoes. Yes. Come here often. There you go. Good. Anything to break the ice. Okay. Now, notice I mentioned if you got there by yourself, I didn't say walk up to a group of people. If you're comfortable doing that, that's great, but a lot of people aren't. Find the person who isn't in a group of people because they are going to welcome your presence so much. Oh my gosh, somebody wants to talk to me, right? You're going to be their new best friend. Again, if you're an introvert, maybe you don't want to talk a lot, ask questions. And that forces the other person to talk a lot. Okay, great. So have those questions kind of pre-planned in advance. Again, little icebreakers or typical networking questions. Um, think about the conversation do's and don'ts as well, right? With most professional scenes or professional conversations, we want to stay away from certain topics, whether it's politics or sex or religion, anything that can be deemed controversial. Let's play it safe at these professional events. Um, Unless, of course, that's the industry you're in. Totally different story if that's the case. Just keep in mind, it's not a numbers game. We want to remember quality over quantity. Okay. I personally like to go in with an attitude of service. I'm there to help people. Now, of course, everybody is there to try to find work. That is the nature of the beast of networking. We know that. But if you go in being like, I've got to get work, and that's the only reason I'm here, that's going to be reflected in your conversations. So keep that in mind and come from a place of service. So, when I say that, it could be maybe you find yourself talking to somebody who just moved here from out of town and they're not in your industry, they are not in your target audience, but that doesn't mean you can't be a referral partner or you can't be of service to them. Maybe they need a referral for a new dentist. Okay, great. Okay, so you promise them, okay, when I get home, I'll email you my dentist. All right. So you follow up with that and you do that. And now all of a sudden, they know, like, and trust you, and they'll refer you. Okay, so always come from a place of service. Jen says, always have a polite way to get out of conversations. Yes, absolutely. Have an escape plan because you can get trapped by some people. This definitely happens. You can excuse yourself to go use the restroom, go refill your drink, get more food, whatever the case may be. Just keep it professional. You may even say, hey, there's plenty of people here. I don't want to monopolize your time. Please go meet all of the people. It was lovely meeting you, right? Like find a professional way to get out of it. Okay. If you're somebody who is hesitant to go to these things, there's nothing wrong with taking a networking buddy with you. I find like that helps. Even me, who seems like I'd have no problem talking to people, I can get shy sometimes, or just networked out. But I know some of my friends, gosh, they are so good at this game and they know the exact questions to ask. I was like, oh, I'm gonna go with this person because they know all the right questions to kind of get in there and do the sell, if you will. Okay, once you get those business cards, once you leave the event, okay, most people go home and they have a stack of business cards sitting on their desk. No, you got to do something with them. All right, what are you going to do with them? The most logical thing to do next is to connect with somebody on LinkedIn. That is safe, okay? That is not spammy. Again, if you took your notes ahead of time, you can add a note to your connection request when you send that on LinkedIn. Pro tip, you cannot send a note along with your connection request when you do it through mobile. It has to be done through desktop. I don't make the rules, okay? LinkedIn's one of those things where you either love it or you hate it. And I think LinkedIn has a ton of opportunity and a lot of potential. It's also not the most user friendly either. So there's that. But always follow up. That's where people drop the ball the most. Always follow up. If you said you would send them that referral for your dentist, send them the referral for the dentist. If they wanted to be added to your newsletter, add them to your newsletter. If you really like the person and you think there's potential there, whether for business or to be a referral partner, ask to follow up. Move it to the next stage, which is what I like to call relationship marketing. Invite them for coffee. Get to know them a little bit more. I'd love to learn more about your business. Like it's not very salesy, right? I want to know more about you. Tell me more about you, right? When really you want to tell them all about you, right? But you can move it to that next stage, that relationship marketing thing. Okay. It can be lunch, it can be coffee, it can even be virtual. It doesn't have to be in person. So keep that in mind. But a lot of these ideas, when it comes to promoting yourself, whether it's networking or social media or what have you, a lot of them are free, a lot of them are cheap, but some do cost money. And I know, like when it comes to branding or graphic design or some of these things, putting together a website, you might be thinking like, how can I afford these things when I'm just starting out? Like, and I don't have any money coming in the door, or I don't have much money coming in the door to dedicate that. Okay, so here's the thing. I'm gonna break my script. Hold on, we're gonna come back to this. Okay, here's the thing. You do have to invest in yourself, all right? You have to spend money to make money. You really do. Okay, so plan in advance and budget if you can. Set aside some money, even if you're just starting out and have to take a part-time job, set aside some money, right? You're going to have to set aside money anyway to pay taxes because that's what we do. Okay, but set aside some money and budget for your branding and your promotions. Okay. Again, know your strengths, know your weaknesses. If you're not a writer, hire a writer. If you're not a designer, hire a designer. Okay. And then find somebody who fits your style. There are so many talented people out there who can help you, but you want to make sure that you really get along with them and you really like their style. Okay, so I am not for everybody and everybody's not for me, right? If somebody comes to me and they're like, "Hey, Julie, can you do this tech writing?" Well, no, that's just not me. I'm very much a conversational writer. I'm an educational writer. I'm a conversational writer. Okay, so look for somebody who fits all of that because we see it all the time. People will go on LinkedIn or they go on Facebook and they'll be like, "Hey, I need a graphic designer to do a logo. Who do you recommend?" I don't know about you. I see this all the time. Here comes 101 different people. Me. How do you choose? Right? There's so many. Oftentimes you may say, "Hey, my best friend recommends this person, so I'm going to use them." Well, that doesn't mean that the person is right for you. Okay, so you got to do a little bit of homework. When you get those referrals and recommendations, right? Study the person, do your research, go to their website, go to their social media pages, vet them like you would any other service provider. Look for a consistency, make sure their actions match their words, all of that good stuff, right? And then, of course, as I mentioned earlier, there is a great resource available, the Freelance Exchange. It's based in Kansas City, but we do have an online directory. We just got a brand new website. I'm so excited about it. And our members are slowly getting their portfolios back online. I'm going to add to the chat. Our website, it is a free resource for anybody to use. We are not like Fiverr. So we just provide the directory. You do your research, you contact the freelancer directly, and you do the whole project through them. You don't have to go through us at all. We keep our hands out of it. We have about 140 members on there. You can search by discipline, whether it's design or writing or photography or social media or web development, what have you. And again, find somebody who fits your style. Everybody's got a different style, okay? And then interview them. Yes, research them ahead of time. All of these things. You'll have great ideas, okay? But make sure that everything fits. Um, Also, if you're self-employed in advertising, if you in advertising and marketing, if you happen to be in Kansas City, I welcome you to join us. I think there was maybe a photographer I saw earlier. Please come check us out. We're a friendly group. We're a nice, creative, collaborative group, and always here to help level one another up. So, let me go back because I did skip over when we were talking about networking. I did skip over the elevator speech. We are running out of time, but if you all want to take a screenshot of this, if you do not have an elevator speech written just yet, here is exactly what you would need to put that together. All right. You need something to fill up 30 to 60 seconds, right? That's what an elevator speech is. If you want to type it out, think 150 to 150 words. It's a simple yet powerful tool, really, to answer the question when somebody asks you, "What is it that you do?" Okay. These are the components that go into an elevator speech. Now, of course, you're going to be able to adjust this as time allows. Like, let's say you have 10 seconds to answer a question versus 30 seconds versus 60 seconds. So you might want to come up with a few different variations of this. Some people like to use the "I help" statement. Thanks, Michelle. That's very handy. I think that's great. "I help such and such do such and such for this," whatever. That's great. If you have 10 seconds, if you have 30 to 60 seconds, expand on that using this recipe here, right? The attention grabbing hook, and then of course at the end, state what you want to happen next. "Hey, I love talking to you. Would you mind exchanging cards?" Or "Would you mind if I followed up with you?" However you want to say that. Okay. So take a screenshot of that. That's going to be your homework going forward. And then let's get back on here. So I love that template. That's awesome. Okay, so Freelance Exchange obviously is a resource. You don't have to be in Kansas City to use it. And Just keep this in mind. Working for yourself doesn't mean you have to go at it alone. There are plenty of resources out there to help you. Obviously, SCORE is here with the webinars, with the mentors. If there is a source link in your area, they're also a great free resource. There's a lot of resources for small businesses. Again, some of them are free, some of them are not. But just keep in mind, you want to continue leveling up, right? Continue taking courses. Consider hiring a business coach. Continue learning how to put your best foot forward as a solopreneur because you really have to be willing to invest in yourself and your business. Now, as a token of my appreciation, I would like to offer you this PDF that I put together for you all about LinkedIn. I told you LinkedIn has a ton of great opportunities here. This is going to help you stand out instead of blending in and how to put together your LinkedIn profile. Again, a lot of opportunity on LinkedIn and a lot of people don't know about these things. So if you want my free checklist of how to rock your LinkedIn profile, you can scan the QR code or you can go to the website here. Let me give you that also in the chat, make it easy for you. And you can get that, learn how to turn your profile into a well thought out, professional, client attracting machine, because that's what we all want, right? And then in the meantime, improve your professional credibility, right? So scan that QR code or go to the website. Just a few reminders before I let you go here. Going forward in your solopreneur journey, I want to leave you with these three things. Number one, I want you to be bold. Okay. Remember those mindset and motivation hacks that we talked about because mindset really is everything. You got to learn to get out of your own way. Okay. Figure out what it is that you don't know and go learn it. Be optimistic, visualize success, all of the good things, right? Use the tips that we shared today so you yourself can get in the right mindset to set yourself up for success and keep that motivation alive, right? It's not just getting motivated, it's staying motivated and going forward. Second, I want you to be brave. If you want to be your own boss, then freaking act like it. Treat your business like a business, not like a hobby. Figure out what your policies and procedures are, right? Establish them, stick to them, and then present yourself in a way that commands respect. Don't let anybody take advantage of you. That's the trick. And then remember that you're the boss and that you run the show. And last but not least, it wouldn't be this if I didn't say I wanted you to be badass, right? Put yourself out there, create a stellar brand, promote yourself wisely. Because again, if people don't know who you are or what you offer, how are they going to hire you or refer you? Now, again, if this isn't something that you're comfortable with, outsource it to somebody who is. But with these tools, I am confident you can rock the solopreneur life. So thank you so much for coming today. Thank you for bearing with me with my cold and staying online for almost 2 hours here. If there's anything I can do to help you in your freelance journey, please let me know. I am happy to help out. Let me put my website here in the chat. You can link up with me on any of the social media. Send me an email through my website, all of the above. I'm happy to have continued conversations. So